Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Command with the weekly comic roundup. We've got a decently sized haul, so let's get started. Kicking things off, we've got Children of the Vault, #1. Continuing the fall of X. So, in last week's issue of X-Men, Forge had the realization after stepping through the gate under Xavier's command, and noting that the gates were no longer working, that the Children of the Vault were freed, and we kind of started to see that occurring. And, well, yes, they are. We get a timeline, complete with a specific day of the year as to when the Vault fell, when the Hellfire Gala happened. Funny, it's the same day that the one-shot came out, July 26th. So, takes a little while, but Serafina goes after they're freed. Serafina returns to the vault to inform the city what's happened. We have a brief interlude with a young boy in the lithium field of Chile. 8-year-old boy drinks some of the poisoned water and takes a selfie as what appears to be the city of tomorrow arrives overhead. We also catch up with Cable, who was captured just before the Hellfire Gala, captured by Orcus, and had his his cybernetic arm ripped off by Nimrod. But he's being held in a Mind Flayer facility, or an Orcus facility outside of Washington, D.C. Bishop rescues him. While they make their way through, Cable manages to control the minds of 5 Orcus troops, convincing them that they are in fact mutants who had been undercover with Orcus. And activates it, and as they escape, Cable activates the self-destruct mechanism in his removed arm, destroying the facility. 4 of the Orcus guards who help them escape are killed as they escape, with another leaving Orcus, breaking free of imprisonment within Orcus, and trying to use the mutant power of flight he's sure that he has. Yeah, he doesn't fly. We've got Bishop's war journal, as it were, taking a page from Frank Castle's book, as it were, going over some of the facilities he's gone after. A Sentinel warehouse, an underground research facility, and a daycare. The daycare is filled with you have picture books portraying mutants as monsters ending in their grisly murders. Happy ending. Cartoons like subliminal messages, nursery rhymes with anti-mutant lyrics, brainwashing, video and board games. A mural in the main hallway of cartoon children cheerfully kicking a mutant to death. The place was burned down. Kept one of the children's books for reasons that Bishop can't explain. If you give a mutant a cookie. Anyways, so while all this, the children of the Vault basically broadcast worldwide, explaining that they're going to fix the problems of the world. That they are the children of humanity, basically, and they do so. The world's governments just are kind of like, we're not gonna do anything here. Even Orcus says, yeah, we'll deal with the mutants first, then we'll circle back around to this. But Bishop thinks that maybe they're doing something with they're doing something with those heads. Cable takes him to a safe house in Hell's Kitchen that he bought in 1890 for a song. Gets a new arm. And psychically scans Bishop with a deep scan and finds something. The OS of his arm, for his new arm, analyzes it. It's apparently it matches. It has a 68% match to Weapon 16, All God. 61% match to Hoxpox from the 31st century. A 46% to Nexus to Living Corporation, and a 24% match to the TO virus. But Bishop wants to, everyone else is infected, and so him and Cable go for a walk. Cable scans the people, and everyone is infected, apparently. And that is where the issue ends. It should also be noted that the children of all have rebranded themselves to be the children of tomorrow. And yeah, they're basically, their messaging is working. Almost like a certain island nation could have taken some cues on how to do stuff, but yeah, and should have. Moving on to our next book, we've got Immortal X-Men number 14. At the end of the Hellfire Gala, Krakoa had a population of 1, Charles Xavier, who is thoroughly convinced that all the rest of the mutant kind was dead. Because, well, you know, keep in mind if Xavier he'd build himself a cross. He would build a giant wooden cross and nail himself to it. You know, really, I don't know. He would do exactly that. But he reflects on the gala. His reflection is interspersed with panels from it. Shaw turns out that Destiny was right. Shaw is working with Orcus, but he's returned to to the corporate world. He frequently injects himself with something that basically keeps that masks his X gene. But apparently, the deal he made with Mother Righteous is exposed. He basically the deal was he owes Krakoa. He contacts Mother Righteous, who basically he's supposed to have a country's worth of funds. And Mother Righteous explains that Shaw acted as though he was making a deal with a businesswoman. Made a deal with a magician, a speller, a storyteller. The deal he made is he made a deal in a story, and it's never quite what one wants. But she adds that Shaw broke the magic circle of the Quiet Council. And, well, breaking magic circles is never a good thing. But Hellfire goons show up. Shaw makes his way out. Turns out that the new owner of the Hellfire Club is Wilson Fisk. So that would be the deal that Fisk and Frost were making. Emma contacts him and basically explains how much of an idiot he is, adding that everything that she did for the children, whereas everything Shaw did, he did for sense. But we had a Shaw Industries overview of the exploitation of Krakoa. Stage 0 is ensure that Krakoa is there, which means ensure Stark Tunnel perimeter is secure, no one in and no one out unless they know. Orcus understands that Krakoa is sole property of Shaw Industries, and they can back off. Ensure there are no traps or countermeasures, they're sneaky, so defense will be beachheads are necessary. Stage 1. From the secure bases, build exploitation sites of service resources, primarily salvage if anything that isn't nailed down, then construct the heavy equipment needed for Stage 2. Priority, external gate must be secured first. Selene wants it, and, well, they gotta keep Selene happy. Stage 2. Living island and currently in semi-hibernation. Then you ensure that it remains so. With Doug gone, his communication systems need to be compromised. Once they are sure it will stay asleep, they start mining and exploring underground labs. At this point, they'll gain whoever's left in the pit and see what Orcus will pay for Sinister. If it's not enough, kill him on principle. Fuck the snot. You know what? Fine, yeah, by all means. Stage 3. Attempt to control the sleeping giant directly. They have physiological control of Krakoa. They can use it as a cornucopia. Bioengine making whatever Shaw Industries wishes. Anything Forge can do, Shaw can do for a profit. Only problem, Krakoa needs life force to do what it does. They can find sacrifices easily. A death or so a month isn't that bad for a factory the scale of Krakoa. After so many weeks, they're still in stage 0. Orcus troops are explaining that there are monsters on the island, though Selene says no, it's not monsters, it's mutants, and they're all gone. Well, every time Orcus shows up, Xavier conjures up the illusion of monsters, causing them to retreat. On some distant planet, 3 members of the Quiet Council awake. Well, 2 members awake, 1 has been awake. Exodus, Destiny, and Hope. And so, Exodus does what he does his thing, and basically just, he appeals to the mutants there with them, and, it's just like, hey, I will lead you to the promised land. We will travel through the, leading his people through the desert to the promised land. We end with an excerpt from the Book of Exodus, Bennett to Barris's translation. The whole mutant people were cast out from Krakoa and came to the desert. In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Exodus and Hope. The mutants said to them, if only we had died by Orcus' hand. In Krakoa, we sat around pots of plenty, ate all the food we wanted, but you have brought us out into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death. And that is where the issue ends. Also, keep in mind that Exodus's powers are amplified by the belief that people have, that others have in him. So, being on this world with a rather large gathering of mutants, that he is, acting as a herald of the Messiah too, and having the Messiah right there. Well, you're going to potentially see Exodus being truly reaching the potential that he can, and with his belief and hope, she can then can copy his powers and further amplify them by everyone's belief in her, and especially Exodus's belief in her. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Ghost Rider Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance Alpha. It's Ghost Rider, it's Wolverine. It's largely a flashback to Logan and Johnny's first meeting. Though we start in the present day, Johnny checks out a house. Something bad happened there, and Wolverine comes up behind him, pops claws, and says it's happening again, and asks what they're going to do about it. So, years ago, back during early in Logan's time with the X-Men, a social worker brought a child to Xavier's school in the middle of the night. Apparently, the kid, no one ever, people are put off by him, and so she wonders if maybe he's a mutant. Xavier looks into the boy's head. So he's not a mutant, but not sure what it is. Xavier gives basically tells the social worker she'll need a scholar of supernatural arcana, perhaps a strange doctor. I mean, might be a good idea. But apparently the kid liked the dimension, but, well, yeah. At the same time, Blaze is doing his motorcycle stunt thing. Jumping 18 buses that are all on fire. However, he briefly sees Mephisto and crashes on and whiffs the landing. At the orphanage that the orphan and the social worker, the orphan is from and the social worker works at, the orphan kills the other orphans, creating a spire of their bodies. Logan, Kitty goes outside and sees the kid. Logan comes back in and sees a monster in the room. Blaze knows something's up and transforms and flames on. The demon escapes and Logan goes after it, running into Ghost Rider. The two of them, they meet for the first time. They talk and they have a beer. They become great friends. No, they fight. They fight because what else do superheroes do when they first meet one another? The social worker sees the kid in the road, and the kid asks that she help him. In the present, the house that Logan and Blaze are at is in fact the social worker's house, where she raised the kid. And Logan asks Johnny if he's ready to finish what they started. And that is where the issue ends. Alright. Start things off strong. I like this idea of of showing the first meeting between the two of them. And the whole thing worked. The fighting thing, it's a trope, yes, but sometimes it works. It makes sense, Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Star Wars number 37, continuing the Dark Droid storyline. So, where we left off, there's actually a name given for the whole thing, but a droid virus has been unleashed on the galaxy. We've seen that it's taken over C-3PO, who's aboard Home 1. That's also taken over Lobot. Home 1 starts going to full battle alert, but there's no one out there. There are no Imperial ships or any other antagonistic ships out there. Lando tries to get Lobot initially to fix things, but now realizes that maybe Lobot might be the one behind the whole thing. Figuring that if the Alliance finds out, well, they're both dead. But Lando knocks out Lobot, and medical droid basically states that Lobot's implants are probably going to kill him sooner rather than later. We have a flashback to early in Lando and Lobot's relationship. Lando had won enough in a sabacc game to pay off someone that they owed, but figured instead use part of that to get into a higher stakes game, and then steal from the Sector Moff, make some money that way, pay off the debt, and move on. You see a message that Lobot recorded for Lando, basically telling him get out of the game, find something bigger other than himself to believe in. And, he uses his luck, charm, and do something good with it. So Lando decides he's taking Lobot to Tatooine to find the droid that wrote the Alliance's security codes, because he sold that droid to Jabba, and basically if Talkie can do anything for Lobot. He tells Leia he needs the Falcon. He's going to take it out for a bit, and be right back. And trust him. And the funniest thing, Leia does. On Tatooine, that droid has screwed over Jabba. Apparently, his language database doesn't have modern idioms, and therefore caused Jabba to pay more for something than he expected to. And so Talkie is sent down to the droid torture chamber of Jabba's palace, and is soon to become very well acquainted with EV-99, and that is where the issue ends. Alright, interesting. I kind of hate how misleading the cover is. Lobot never attacks Lando, so yeah. But it pops out. Moving on, though, to our last one, we've got Star Wars Max Rebo, the last of the Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary one-shots. As stated before, probably half the denizens of Jabba's palace are plotting to kill him. One such plot was stopped, and but while it was being stopped, the blaster bolt narrowly missed Max's head. Thinks back to his mentor. It was a Doug, old Kez. The drummers are butting heads. They appear to both. Each one accuses the other of being off rhythm. One is a Weequay whose clan is indentured to Jabba. The other is a Klatooinian who is just part of the band. But Klatooinian is sent a message by a messenger droid from his father, kill Jabba. We see the death of Ula. We also see the the bounty hunter Boosh bring in Chewbacca. Akrev speaks to his clan and tries to get them to leave to, you know, turn their backs on serving Jabba, but they're not. They won't. This is also when Leia and Han are captured by Jabba. But also it seems that even Max maybe had a plan to either to unalive himself or kill Jabba. But Luke shows up. Apparently, the backup Max Rebo band's backup dancers think rather highly of Luke. Ristal stating that dashing man in black killed the Rancor. Lin May stating that Luke did so to avenge Ula, though says that, you know, they all know that isn't the case. But Lin May kind of says, you know, let her have her fantasy. Of course, we see the battle on the Dune Sea when Leia cuts the power on the sail barge. Umbaste and Akrev fight it out, and as they're fighting, Leia kills Jabba. The Weequay clan is attacked by others. It looks like other Weequay, and Max goes on to seemingly have a pleasant life. It looks like he even married a Twi'lek woman, but it's not entirely clear. But apparently the entire issue was him making a toast and telling a story and making a toast, and that is where the issue ends. I really liked these one-shots. I was also a fan, I remember back in the 90s there was a group of anthology novels that were short story collections. Tales from Monstasi Cantina, Tales from Jabba's Palace, and Tales from the Bounty Hunters. The Jabba's Palace, all three of them were great. Jabba's Palace and Monstasi Cantina had a lot more stories or a lot more characters, but they really fleshed out a lot with both of those locales, and I feel like them being removed from the canon kind of was a disservice to fans. I understand the reasoning, but yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Big shout out to the Patreon patrons Xander and Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.